I've been messing with some non-popular wood, pretty much. Poplar. And I just got thinking, I've got some blanks, poplar blanks and stuff like that. You don't see a lot of people really working with poplar very much. Really, it's not that famous for being good turning wood or whatever, or being pretty or whatever. But I have to disagree. I really like the way it looks. You know, for stuff. It is a hardwood, although that's because it's, you know, comes from a tree with leaves on it instead of needles. But what I like about it is the green heart. I mean, I just think that's unique. You know, I think it's pretty myself. Of course, I might be alone in that. But this one here has actually got black in it. I don't know where that came from. Maybe a nail or something that may have been in the tree on down. But what I've done is I've cut a 10-inch blank out of it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn a more or less a plate, not necessarily a bowl, but like a more or less of a plate. All the bark's going to be gone. This won't be a natural edge, even though it is a crotch cut. And what I did with a crotch cut is there was a limb here and the main trunk was here. So I moved the crotch over to the side, just a little, you know, off to this quadrant over here, because I think the figure is gonna add to the piece at the end. I hope. We'll see. But I punched a hole for my drive center, and I've got my center around on the back also. So I'm going to chuck this thing up, and I'm going to turn a plate, and then we're going to see what we can do with colors, and see what this thing will look like when we get some colors on it. All right, let's get started. Alright, well, got it balanced pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and start shaping this thing. I'm just going to kind of put like a ogee type profile on it and see where it goes from there. Okay, I think I'm really good here. Got some cracks and stuff like that, but now I can go back and repair those. Now I'm going to go ahead and repair them, and I'll be back shortly. I'm just going to use sawdust and super glue, and then I'm going to sand this up. All right, I'll be back shortly. Okay, well, got it reversed around now. I've sanded the outside part of the bowl up to 320, and it's pretty slick. Now I'm just going to start hollowing out the inside. I decided not to make a plate. I just when I got to roughing this thing out, I don't know, I just kind of saw a little ogee bowl in there, ogee shaped bowl. So anyway, I've got a bowl now. Got to be very careful right here, because my cut is going this direction, so if I'm not careful I can blow this thing apart right here. I believe what I'm going to do is just a nice easy pull cut across here and hopefully take that down. That's going to be my first concern. It's being nice and easy right there. See where we're at. Okay, I've got a little bit more to go. Pretty bad crack right there. Okay, I think I got past it. Okay, now I'm within repair range now. Okay, I'm good to go there. Pretty good there. All right, well, let's get to hollowing this thing out a little bit. I'm got my center up. It's just a lot safer to do that while I'm trying to get rid of some of this wood in here. One thing with this poplar, it's kind of like the walnut hollow form that I did. If you hit a catch, you can snap that tenon right off back there. So just, you know, be careful. Be careful with that. This edge here. I'm not watching the tool, I'm watching this over here. That helps you get a nice smooth curve. Back in a few minutes. be back in a few minutes. I'm going to hollow this out. I'm going to repair all of this, and I'll be back once I got it all sanded up. Okay, we'll see you in a few. Okay, well, here's my bowl, my poplar bowl, and actually I would have no problems finishing this thing right now with a friction polish or oil or whatever. I believe it would be really pretty, but I wanted to make this kind of a coloring type video. I've done coloring a good bit on some pieces and things like that, and I really like doing it. But there's a guy, Andy Coates. I guess he's a British guy. But he does a really nice video on coloring an ash bowl. And wow, that thing was beautiful when he got done with it. But there's a lot of other coloring videos out there. Captain Eddie Castellan does some coloring, and Sam with Wyoming Woodturner, and I'll put links to all three of these on my description. But all of them do videos on coloring bowls and things like that. But what I'm wanting to do is kind of a mixture of a lot of them. But the dyes I'm using are the RIT dyes. They're readily available just about anywhere. I prefer the artisan dyes, the alcohol dyes and all, but I really didn't have any right now. So so that's what I'm doing now. But what I'm going to do, I've got out several colors here, and I'm going to be mixing some of them up. I want the red and the brown to be mixed together. That's going to be kind of my background color. I'm just going to add a little bit in there. Of both of those. And this, like I say, this will be, the base bowl will be this color here. Not too much, but I'm just adding them together. Yellow, and I may be changing this up a little bit as I go, but the good thing is I can. The good thing I like about these RIT dyes is they're water based. A little bit of navy blue, and this green that I'm using looks almost black. I'm not worried about that little bit got on my table saw. So I may end up having to lighten that up a little bit. I don't know how they got green out of black, but and these other two cups that I have, they're just one will be for cleaning and one will be for possibly any other color that I may want to use. But first things first, we've got to get the bowl prepped. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a rag soaked in some water. I'm just going to wipe it down good and start getting the grain to raise up. I'm just using water. I will be doing the front and the back of this bowl. We'll get the grain to raise up, and then I'll come back and I'll sand it at 400 So I've already sanded the bowl to 320. But I'll come back, and I can feel it already. It feels rough as a cob. But I'll come back and I'll sand that with 400 grit. Alright, well, I got several colors mixed. I changed the blue and green. It just looks like black to me. I don't want it black. But if you remember, I left the crotch figure over on the side of my bowl when I turned it. So this is all going to be the crotch figure from about here up and around over this rim back down to here. And I may even include this black area here. But anyway, I'm just going to start that out, and I'm going to use yellow. Maybe it'll be dark enough, or maybe not. Let me put just a little bit more yellow in there. Alright. Give it a little swirl. But I'm starting with yellow, and that's the color I want to highlight. That's the color I want to highlight my figure here. And this is sort of Andy Coates' method here. I just want to go up over this whole crotch figure here. What I like about the stains, it's not like paint. It's not the opaqueness. It doesn't have all the opaqueness of the paint. And I'm just following this out here. Of course, the more you put on, the darker it'll get also. Okay, yellow's good and dry. Now we're just going to start working on the trunk part here. I mean the heartwood. All I'm doing is just kind of outlining, and I'll keep going back and making it darker and darker. This is this is kind of a teal color that I'm using. It's a mixture of blue and green and yellow. But I'll just keep going back, trying to keep the colors separated for now. Okay, alright, I got yellow's good and dried in, the green's good and dried in. I just used a hair dryer on it. Well, now I'm going to go back to my last grit, which was 400 grit. I'm just going to kind of sand over the yellow. Then I'll come back and I'll hit the green. that dye's not taking good in that super glue. I'm hoping may end up coming back doing something with Sharpie pens or something with that, because that's anyway. Alright, now for my base color, which was the red and brown. Let's see how this looks. Stir it up real good. And I've been cleaning my brush between each one. I like that color. Maybe it'll... All I'm going to do here is I'm just going to start coloring everything else. And I'm staying away from the other colors intentionally. I know it looks like crap right now, but I think it's going to look good in the end. Okay, well, I'm back. I've got all my colors down, the top and the bottom. I just used the same system I was using. I would put a color down, and then I would sand it after it dried. So it's been a while. One big advantage to the artisan dyes is they dry almost instantly. Water, like I say, I've got a hair dryer here, and water just takes a while to dry. So, but anyway, it's good and dry now. I've sanded each one, and I went back and sanded the whole thing. So now I'm going to start trying to blend these, and not really sure how I want to do that, but I believe I'm going to try to do it the way Andy Coates did, sort of. But what he did was he just blended all the edges. He went around with little circles and blended all these colors together. But I think I'm going to try a base coat doing that, or a base color doing that, and maybe I may try this orange here. I don't know how that'll work, but as you start doing this, you pick up colors from one side and the other, and I'm not really liking the orange. Let's try the yellow. Just go back with the yellow. We'll just start blending these, just making circles. Blending the colors in. We're just going to just blurring the lines between the colors. What this does is it's reactivating the colors on the sides that have already been sanded down and everything else. And I'm just going to go around and do all my transitions like that. Okay, we started our blending a little bit with the little circles, just kind of meshing all the colors together. When you're messing with dyes and stuff, I mean, you know, you might want to walk around with colored hands and stuff like that, but I really don't. You can buy these gloves here. They're natural gloves. You can get them at Walmart. They cost about $10, maybe $11 for 100 of them, which that's not a bad deal. But I'm fixing to grab me a paper towel, a couple of them here, and I mixed me up a color here. It's kind kind of a orange, almost an orange type color. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to start going over the whole thing with it. I'll soak up some. I'm just going to start wiping down the whole thing with it. And just scrub it in. And see how I'm getting the dyes on here. And that'll just begin blending all the colors together. It just makes everything sort of come together a little bit. Brings out the grains. You see the grain coming out in the feather there. And that's just from making circles over this whole area here. Alright, well, I got it all pretty much colored the way I want it. I'm going to hit that a little bit more sandpaper in a couple of areas here. I've just gone back over the whole thing again with 400 grit, and now I'm ready to start the finish. And what I'm going to do as kind of a sealer, I'm just going to use tung oil. And I'll come back later and I'll just wax. The way the color's blended, I kind of like that so far, but we'll see how the finish turns out. I'm thinking it's going to be pretty, I hope. Anyway, but I just want to get this tung oil nice and soaked in good. Oops. I'm just wiping it on with a paper towel. Almost like a flood coat, because every bit of this will soak in. I really like that tung oil. It won't take it long to, better put my name on it, shouldn't I? Alright, now then, I'll finish wiping on the finish. Well, down to the home stretch. I've got a coat of wax on here. I've been letting it dry for a little while. This stuff has to sit and dry, and then you buff it off. What I do is I go around and kind of buff it off a little bit and get all the excess off of it, and then I'll come back and actually buff it. But I'll do maybe 2 or 3 coats of this stuff, waiting about 15-20 minutes in between, and it gives a really nice finish. Alright, well, alright, here we are. Finally done. I actually started this thing yesterday evening and got her done today. But really learned a lot doing this. First lesson I learned is not to have super glue on the surface, because it does not take dyes well. Point taken, lesson learned. It won't happen again. I will still make my repairs the same way with a super glue, because it's a good solid repair. But what I'll do is I'll go back before I finish all my sanding and stuff, and I'll sand out all this area around the cracks where the super glue kind of soaked in around the edges. I'll sand that until I get down to good wood. And anyway, that should take the dye better. But where we sanded, we put the colors on and we sanded with 400 grit, it just knocks off the tops there. And when we go back and we use that one color and we just blend it all together, all those colors get into the grains in other sections of the bowl. So this crotch cut, or this crotch right here, the figure in it really popping out good. It's got all the colors from the rest of the bowl all mixed into the grain, and it really made the grain pop out. It's on the front and the back. Both of them turned out really nice. Like I say, I would go back and you know, I would change the deal with the super glue. It just really looks bad. But I'd like to thank Andy Coates, Captain Eddie Castellan, and Sam Angelo from the Wyoming Woodturner for helping me figure out how to color wood and stuff. I've used colors a good bit before, and I really enjoy doing it. It's a lot of fun, and you can get a completely different look from this from wood. Poplar, you know, poplar most people think is fairly plain. Like I said, I like the green heart, which is another reason I used green in the heart here. It kind of accentuates that a little bit. But anyway, all I did to finish it, 2 coats of tung oil, let it cure good and thoroughly, and then 2 coats of the Minwax furniture paste wax, or paste finishing wax. I think I picked that up at Home Depot or something like that. It's a pretty good product. I normally end up putting that over all my projects at the end. It gives a good feel, and it gives a nice finish also. But this is my first video of a couple that I'm going to do just using poplar, because I think it's a beautiful wood, and you know, a lot of people just kind of overlook it. They use it for the inside of cabinets or framework or something like that, something where it's not going to be seen. But I like it. I think poplar is really pretty. But I'm going to go on in, get this uploaded. Hope you enjoyed it, and I learned a lot. Maybe I got you started wanting to go color something for yourself. Well, y'all have a good day.